Good morning, afternoon, or evening, Quench Nation. Good to have you back. I got a big whopping serving of fantasy to throw at you today. It is my honor to present to you all the July edition of the Quench Sports Fantasy Football Tight End Rankings. So let's get it started. To kick it off, not only does he start Tier 1, he is Tier 1. The king of fantasy tight ends. We all know who it is. Gronk. Yes, Rob Gronkowski from the Patriots is the only tight end you can feel comfortable taking as early as the first 2 rounds of your draft, regardless of your league's format. When healthy, Gronk is undoubtedly the best option in fantasy and is the only option at tight end that will put up the same numbers as a high-end wide receiver 1. He is Brady's main man, and he could be yours as well. Now on to Tier 2 already. And as it may be a shocker, at the number 2 ranked tight end, I have the up-and-coming Gronk in the red and white for the Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce. Kelce is an absolute athletic freak, nicknamed Zeus, with very similar vitals with the most elite tight ends in the league. With Anthony Fasano taking away the majority of snaps last year for blocking, Kelce is still finished the 8th best tight end in fantasy last year. Now with Fasano out and Jeremy Maclin in Kansas City to stretch the field, and the duo of Jamal Charles and Knile Davis to distract defenses from covering Kelce in the middle, expect weak-armed Alex Smith, who's unable to throw deeply to receivers, hence the 0 touchdowns the Chiefs receivers scored last year. Kelce is poised for an elite fantasy season. With his current 5th round average draft position, Kelce is an absolute steal that can help lead your team to your league's championship. At 3, Jimmy Graham. The prior number 1 tight end in New Orleans is now in a very different situation. Instead of being in a high-powered passing offense with an elite pocket passer tossing him the rock, now he has a run-heavy team in Seattle with a quarterback in Russell Wilson that always spreads the wealth. In the red zone, make no mistake, after the last-second interception thrown in the Super Bowl, Pete Carroll will be giving Marshawn Lynch the ball all the time. Graham will lose many targets, and despite his size and talent, is just not in a good situation as a tight end. He is overvalued and not worth your early pick. Now at number 4, Mr. Reliable in Carolina, Greg Olsen. If you're looking for consistency, you can find it in Olsen. Standing tall and with reliable mitts, Olsen is a solid tight end. He won't break out due to his lack of elite athleticism and the growing amount of weapons in Carolina's offense, rendering Olsen to a low-ceiling, high-floor fantasy option. That wraps up the second tier, so now on to the others. After Olsen, tight ends take a big dip. There is much less safety with these guys, and you're aiming for the possible upside they may be able to provide you during the season. At 5, I got Julius Thomas. Now in Jacksonville, it may be easy to say that he's irrelevant fantasy-wise, but that's just not wise to think that. Julius has been extremely impressive in camp and will be a key factor in a passing offense in Jacksonville. If Blake Bortles can take that next step, watch out. At 6, Kyle Rudolph. Rudolph, who's one of the most talented tight ends in the entire league when healthy, is a phenomenal option in 2015. In Norv Turner's very tight end friendly offense, and with Teddy Bridgewater calling him the best receiving weapon on the Vikings offense, you better believe that Rudolph is a breakout candidate. On to 7, where we have a former elite fantasy star finding himself almost unrecognizable after a letdown season in 2014. And that man is Vernon Davis. Davis was severely underused last year in his offense, but now coaching has changed. New tight end coach Tony Sparano is a former head coach that will ensure that Colin Kaepernick utilizes Davis. just like he did in 2013, when number 85 in red and gold finished as the second best tight end in fantasy, only behind Jimmy Graham. Vernon still looks the part, as his speed and hands showcased in camp this spring shows the same Vernon Davis that fantasy owners have loved for years. And to finish the third tier, at number 8, Zach Ertz. I see Ertz as a poor man's Travis Kelce, as the most talented receiving option for the Eagles since Maclin left for Kansas City in free agency. Ertz is in line for an upward spike in snaps and targets, with an upgraded quarterback in Sam Bradford. Despite Brent Selleck still playing in Philly as the prominent blocking tight end in Chip Kelly's offensive scheme, Ertz is still a high upside option that will be utilized in the Eagles' offense. Time to speed things up at the beginning of Tier 4. To start it off, at number 9, I got Owen Daniels. After following Gary Kubiak to Denver, he is now the number 1 tight end for Peyton Manning in a very tight end friendly system. No matter who it is, that's a good sounding deal. Stay tuned in camp to see how involved Virgil Green will be alongside Daniels. It could determine if Daniels could be a top tight end option, even at the age of 32. At 10, Tyler Eifert. After missing the entire season in 2014 with an elbow injury, Eifert has been unrightfully forgotten. Up until he was injured in the first quarter of the Bengals season opener versus the Ravens, Eifert had already solidified a prominent spot in that Bengals offense, with 3 receptions in only a matter of a couple series. Now, with competing tight end Jermaine Gresham as an unsigned free agent, the 2013 Bengals first-round pick out of Notre Dame could be in for a breakout season. At 11, Jordan Cameron. The undeniable talent and athleticism of Cameron keeps him fantasy relevant in a Miami Dolphins offense that will be throwing often. If it wasn't for his terrible proneness for injuries and concussions, Cameron could be higher. At 12, Martellus Bennett. The big tight end for the Bears is in a tight spot, with a run-heavy scheme taking over with John Fox replacing Mark Trestman as the head coach. Jay Cutler is not the man you'd want to lean on through the season to supply your player with reasonably consistent stats. Lower your expectations for Bennett. At 13, Larry Donnell. In Ben McAdoo's high-flying pass-heavy offense, there's a good chance that Donnell could be a red zone threat for Eli Manning and company. At 14, Jason Witten. Even with Gavin Escobar in Dallas to vulture Witten's targets, Romo and Witten are still buddy-buddy and could be bound for a rejuvenation this year, as Scott Linehan will have to dial up more pass plays now that DeMarco Murray is an Eagle. And to finish out the 4th tier, a late round flyer that's worth the risk at the 15th spot, Richard Rodgers. After competing tight end Andrew Quarles was arrested for a gun incident in Miami, Richard Rodgers could be the first productive tight end in Green Bay since Jermichael Finley. Aaron Rodgers will be sure to spread the wealth, and if they catch fire, Richard Rodgers could turn into a masterful option at the tight end position. Rapid fire time for the 5th and final tier. At 16, Delanie Walker. At 17, Austin Seferian-Jenkins. At 18, Josh Hill. At 19, Heath Miller. At 20, Jordan Reed. At 21, Dwayne Allen. At 22, Kobe Fleener. At 23, Antonio Gates. At 24, Ladarius Green. And at 25, Charles Clay. And now we find ourselves at the end of these tight end rankings. Be sure to check out all the other preliminary positional rankings for Quench Sports. And for any advice, questions, tips, or anything fantasy football, comment below or find me on Twitter at Nick G. Walters. Thanks for watching. This is Nick Walters. Good luck in all your fantasy football studying. Quench on.